What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below, as usual. This video is entitled, Is Roy Moore's Loss a Victory? I was working today, listening to the radio, and happened to be listening to Tom Joyner at the time. And they kept, celebrating Roy Moore losing, right? And like big up to Alabama and everybody in Alabama who voted to make sure he lost, and big up to the black women and the black men, and we came out in bigger numbers than we did to vote for Obama to make sure he lost his seat. Now I'm all for, if you want something to change, vote to make it change. I'm all for that. But there were some things that I was listening to that was very disturbing. For one, there was a part where Al Sharpton was talking. He was like, we can't go off and party and act like the fight is the battle is won, the war is won because we won a battle. And at that point, I got mad, because in my mind I was like, but that's what y'all did for 8 years when Obama was the president. People constantly told y'all need to push your agenda. Everybody else pushed their agenda, but now you as people who are activists and speakers and politicians in the community and spokespersons of the community, now you want to say we can't just take one little victory and party all day long because you elders, baby boomers, people who was around in the civil rights movement just realize this. That one victory doesn't mean nothing. You got to actually keep building on things. Like this is the tone you get out of people like Al Sharpton at his age. Problematic, laughing and kiki all on the radio like, oh, we did something. Because Roy Moore lost. My problem is this. There are a lot of sheriffs that could be unseated, judges that could be unseated, propositions that you should be able to, that we can vote to pass or vote to stop, But you have to be a racist, alleged pedophile to get our attention, to do something about it. So for me, I'm like, is this really a victory? Because in some ways it says this is how overtly dysfunctional you got to be as a politician to get us off our behinds to do something. And I don't know if that's a victory. I don't know if that's anything to celebrate. Mind you, he barely lost. So the people who voted for Roy Moore could care less about his current scandals. And that's weird. It is weird when you basically almost win and you got 8 people saying that you are a pedophile or a child molester, in a sense. Like, that's weird. Even that I mean, there's been some crazy stuff in politics, but that's that's the decorum of the current situation. That you got to be either just as nutty as Roy Moore is alleged to be, because I'm like, I'm gonna just leave it alone and let it play out. And to condone that, and in politics, that's something that people normally run from. It's like, you know what, you gonna have to sit this one down, and they making fun of him, riding in on a horse and all that, and I'm like, we tripping, yo, we tripping. And I look back at this, and I think about how I don't think our community has ever apologized to Tavis Smiley for him saying, look, we got to be on Obama's head. Like, he's a politician like everybody else. You can't just act like because he just won, it's all good. Like, he's a politician. Remember that. And everybody, oh, he a hater. He this, he that. Everybody was on Steve Harvey's bandwagon for calling him a hater then, right? But now, look at all these years later, the same Steve Harvey look kind of like the complete opposite of that, right? But because everybody, like Al Sharpton, and even Tom Joyner was talking about that. You wanted to go party and have a good time. And this is my issues. There is no young political voice right now, because it seems like our upper echelons of activists, of entertainers, just of speakers, whatever you want to call it, like just our most visible individuals are compromised to the point where they are walking hypocrites. And if you can't take, and they're put up to be the face of the community, and they're known walking hypocrites. So if these people are put out as, oh, these are, this is the view of black people, we're not being taken seriously. So is it really a victory? Because I think about it, like the same way we look at Fox News and Bill O'Reilly and Hannity and Limbaugh and some of those just they're conservatives, but their hypocrisy. We don't take people seriously. Like we know you full of it, and we never sit down and say, you know what, we have those same archetypes as talking figures too, who are full of it. Not just by their blatant hypocrisy as far as their political stance or stances, but by their blatant hypocrisy of not actually wanting to pass on the torch, because they just are basking in the benefits of, I guess, being the king of the hill, but never really but keeping their mentality on the forefront, which is not a good sign. I'm not saying people got to go gracefully out into the sunset. I'm just saying these people are not like expanding their platforms to the best and the brightest up and comers. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of I don't see the victories in a lot of this stuff. I really don't. And politically, it's not about Roy Moore per se. It's about, we can have a lot of wins in a lot of the counties or parishes or cities that we live in. And when some of us say, we don't necessarily like the Democratic Party, because a guy was racist, we vote for another guy. I guess he's a better guy. If that's the case, we should a black candidate should have just jumped in there and just said, "Hey, I got this," and we should have got behind him, right? If you're gonna get a racist pedophile is gonna run, you might as well get a brother in there to take that spot. If we all band together in unison or unity to make sure he's not gonna be there, we should put our own in that spot. So sometimes I just think sometimes we just, and maybe this particular time wasn't the best opportunity to do that. I don't, because I don't know Alabama like that. But just for future reference, we don't seem to do that. Or, if that's the case, and it's time to change a few of the judges, change a few sheriffs, change a few school districts, stuff like that. So sometimes to me, I just don't. I can see the win in certain things, but our mentality, I just don't like in certain things. And who am I to hate our whole mentality? I'm just saying some of this stuff is just not conducive to actually moving forward properly. You get what I'm saying? So that's just my thoughts on that. I'm out.